Welcome, everybody, to the You Are Worthy Network. I am your host, Steve Wormer, and I am excited to be with you this Wednesday morning. For some of you that know my routine a little bit, you're like, what? He's doing an interview on Wednesday morning. A morning. What's going on? I do Wednesday morning once in a while. But regardless of when we do an interview, it's always great to be with you. It's always great. I'm so blessed. I get to meet and introduce you to the most amazing people. And you're going to find out today, today's guest certainly fits that bill of amazing. Sometimes we overuse that word, right? But it's so true. She's amazing, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about her in a second. Um, if this is one of the first times you're chiming in, I want to say thank you. Thank you for being a part of our community. Thank you for joining the You Are Worthy Network. And in case you're saying, what is this You Are Worthy Network? I'll try to give you a short answer. It's a rebuttal to my stinking mindset at times. My unhealthy mindset that I carried for 55 years. And if I'm being candid, once in a while, it still pops up because we all have those kind of days, right? But I created it to give you some hope and encouragement in a very dark world, and for you to know that you're not alone on this journey. And as I've had breakthroughs with my mindset, I want you to be reassured. Whatever's holding you back, it doesn't have to. Your mindset can be victorious. So that's kind of the Cliff Notes version. And then I get to interview amazing people, and they've overcome insurmountable obstacles at times to give you a little inspiration along the way. So, with that said, I want to introduce you to my new friend and incredible human being, Kristin. Kristin Gustafson is a former Ironman World Championship competitor and business executive turned motivational speaker and author who helps leaders and organizations become detour ready, equipped to navigate life's unexpected challenges with grit, purpose, and strength. With a master's degree in exercise physiology and exercise science, over a decade of experience in business and product strategy, and as a national board certified health and wellness coach, Kristin blends science, storytelling, and strategy to drive lasting performance, whole person health, and personal growth. After being diagnosed with multiple sclerosis and dystonia, Kristin was forced to recalibrate her own life and leadership path, which led to the creation of the GPS mindset, a proven framework for finding clarity and direction when life or leadership steers off course. She serves on multiple leadership advisory boards and is known for empowering professionals to lead with authenticity, resilience, and confidence through change. Her influence spans from the corporate boardroom to the stage, where she has guided executives, athletes, and students in navigating self-doubt, strengthening resilience, and leading with confidence under pressure. Rather than simply delivering motivation, Kristin creates experiences that help people apply the GPS mindset in real time and carry it forward long after the keynote ends by connecting mindset to everyday habits like movement, nutrition, stress management, and sleep, so they can build lasting strength in both life and leadership. Oh, so much gold in there. Kristin, welcome to the You Are Worthy Network.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Absolutely. What's it like being on the other end of that, hearing your bio read back to
you? Oh, it's been a journey for sure. It's definitely some ups and downs. And when you think you're on the path, it takes a quick detour and then another detour. So excited to share my knowledge and help others get through their own detours. But also, like you were saying, Steve, the mindset is such a huge thing, and it really does hold us back. It's one of those where if we have those self-doubts and we have that imposter syndrome where we think that we're not worthy or that we are not qualified, then it's almost like we are getting in our own way, not anybody else.
So true. And without going too deep in it right off the bat, because we want to ease into it, I'm that guy that, like, on detours, right? Detours can be frustrating. Um, but at a 30,000-foot view, and I like to do that sometimes because it gets me not bogged down in as much details, which can be more frustrating. Like, I'll take a detour long as I can still be moving towards the goal or destination.
Yes.
There's
Yes.
nothing worse than sitting in bumper to bumper traffic, right?
I know. And for many years, I was sitting in that bumper to bumper traffic, just sitting there having my own kind of little pity party and not realizing all the support and gratitude and just that negative attitude that was keeping me in that traffic. It was like I was at a standstill and then moving backwards at some point, or I move forward and then backwards. So yeah, it's never good when you're in bumper to bumper traffic. That's for sure.
No, you just gave me a visual. Sometimes we're in bumper to bumper traffic. There is no traffic. We're just sitting still.
Yes, exactly.
Oh my goodness. Well, why don't you tell us where you call home and tell us about your family?
Yes. So I currently live in Mankato, Minnesota. We have lived here for 12 or 13 years, but grew up around this area. I am married. We are almost to our 25-year anniversary. Yes. And then two boys. One is a firefighter out in Sioux Falls. And then the younger one is off to college here oh my goodness, in less than a month. And will be going to Northwestern in Iowa and playing basketball and going towards his business degree.
Wow.
Yes. And I can't forget my two dogs, Izzy and Cyrus, which you might hear them bark if the FedEx guy comes by. Just to give you a heads up.
FedEx guy, slow your route down.
Yes. I shut all the shades down there just in case.
Oh, that's funny. And what do you guys like to do for fun when you're all together?
Oh, well, we are actually going on a trip here soon to Colorado. We love to hike and be outside. And even though, before I used to race and we would go to the marathons and triathlons and we would kind of compete together as a family and individually. But now it's more about kind of exploring. We love the hiking and the walking. And of course, we got to do some shopping and have some good food and cocktails when we're together also.
Well, there you go.
It's a good family group.
That sounds like a good time.
Yes.
Something to definitely look forward to.
Yes.
So we're going to do something now that I've just introduced recently. It's this or that.
Okay.
And it's to get to know your personality. It's rapid fire. I'll let you, if you absolutely must, I'll let you say both to one answer.
Okay.
Don't overthink it. First thing that comes to mind. Okay. I'm trying to think where I want to start. Read the book or watch the movie.
Watch the movie.
Okay.
Only because I get halfway through the book and then a new book comes out and then I start reading that one. So I know I'm going to finish the movie in an hour and a half.
That's funny. Books or podcasts?
Podcasts.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Vanilla. Not a chocolate lover.
Cook or take out?
I'm going to say take out, and my boys would agree with me. They don't like me sneaking in veggies all the time into their meals. So it's definitely take out for the family.
I got you. Early bird or night owl?
Oh, early bird for sure.
That was easy.
Yes.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Ocean or mountains?
Ooh, mountains. Oh,
You got one both if you have to.
I'm gonna say both for that one.
Okay. Okay. Drive or fly?
Fly.
Rock or country?
Oh, country.
Okay. Um, big city or small town?
Small town.
There you go. There we
See?
have it in a nutshell. Great job.
Perfect.
Great job.
Sweating a little after those.
You're like, okay, that's enough.
Yeah.
All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to travel back in time. We're trying to establish where your mindset, here we go, mindset again.
Hmm.
Even though at this stage of life, right before your high school graduation, you probably don't even know what that term is. I mean, yeah, that's a whole nother
Yeah.
conversation. But I think it's fascinating to get into the mindset of 17 and 18-year olds. And
Hmm.
that's why I do this. There's no right or wrong answer. We're just trying to find out where you were on the journey. So let's say your senior year in high school and
Hmm.
you're graduating on Friday night.
Okay.
You've got the cap, you've got the gown. The diploma is about to be put in your hand. It's Wednesday. You're 48 hours away.
Okay.
What's the thought process? Is it, oh my gosh, this is getting real fast. I guess I better get a job this summer. I don't know what I'm gonna do in the fall. I guess I'll figure it out along the way. I'm gonna
Hmm.
miss this place. Oh my gosh, how'd this all happen? Or way on the other end, get me out of here. This 48 hours can't pass soon enough. I'm even going to go out and buy the beach ball and get this party started on Friday night. Um, let's go. I've got a job. I'm going to keep that through the summer. I know what the plan is in the fall. I know what I want to do with my life. The world is mine. Open the doors, or somewhere in between. Where were you?
I was shaking actually because I was speaking at the graduation in front of everyone. So I was a little nervous for that. But I actually, in that time, I had a lot of doubt. So I had actually so I played tennis and basketball through my high school career, and I tore my ACL my senior year. So lost some scholarships for tennis and was like, what is next? And what I realized now, which I did not know back then, is that those little detours were helping me for the big detour that was going to be coming my way.
Mm,
So those, I had a lot of doubts in my mind, but I was excited for the next step, but definitely was wondering what that was going to look like after having, at that time I had 2 knee surgeries, and wondering if I was going to be able to play tennis again, and if not, then what? So it was a little bit of excitement, but a lot of question marks in my mind also.
now, were you going to go to a university and play on scholarship tennis,
Yes,
or?
yes. And
uh,
then I blew out my ACL and had 2 surgeries, and then decided to go to a fabulous program at Gustavus Adolphus College, which is in St. Peter, which is about 20 minutes away from where I live right now. So excited for that adventure, but definitely sad to leave the high school experience and friends behind. So nervousness all around when you're, making that transition for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So what was tennis over?
I tried to play, and then I had a 3rd knee surgery, and they
Oh, goodness.
said that I figured out that I could go that way. I can go straight, but I can't go lateral. So that's when then I started doing marathons and running, because I knew that I wasn't. Yes, I knew I was good that way.
Okay, so I'm taking a little bit of a detour
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
I'll bring it back quick. Does that mean you play pickleball now or no?
I do not. I'm actually a little nervous to try it. So, as you said, so I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis and dystonia. I have drop foot, so I'm not the fastest person anymore when I need to move fast. I am a great speed walker, and then also my hands, they sometimes do not like to cooperate and hold on to things. So I have not taken the leap of like trying it yet, but I'm thinking that's going to be in my future to at least try it and see how I do.
There you go. Um, you mentioned the multiple sclerosis
Mm-hmm.
and dystonia, and I want to get to that in just a second, but I still want to establish what the young lady wanted to do. What did you want to do with your life at 18, 19 years old? What did you see yourself doing for a career?
So before going into college, like I literally had no clue what I wanted to do. It was like, oh, a teacher. Do I want to be a nurse? What I did know is that I wanted to help others. And then it went into, I did my undergrad for health, fitness, and business. So I really got into the health side of things. One of my first jobs was actually a personal trainer. So I kind of fell in love with that part of it of, but as you said before, mindset wasn't part of it. So I was working on the whole body of getting stronger and the nutrition, and not even so much like stress management or sleep. It was very focused on exercise and nutrition. It wasn't until later on that I realized how much the mindset, you have to train that as much as you do with the nutrition and exercise. They go hand in hand. If you don't have a strong mindset, it's hard to have a strong body and to feel good in your body if you have such a low self-esteem and always doubting yourself. So I knew that I wanted to help others. So I went into the health fitness field. And then as I grew and through the years, that's when you realize, wow, this mental side of it, if I wish I knew this back in high school, I would have been such a stronger, if it was tennis player, basketball player, but an overall individual, if I actually would have worked on that instead of just working on the physical part of it, of the nutrition and exercise.
But we don't know what we don't know,
You
right?
know, right. Yes. Yes.
When we're young, we just don't know. Um, so let's fast forward. I'm sure I'm skipping, and feel free to back us up
Mm-hmm.
with any gaps that need to be filled in. But tell us about the day you learned about your diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
And I could certainly be wrong. It wouldn't be the first time, but were there obvious symptoms or was it a total shock?
No, so in 2015, I did Ironman Boulder, and Ironman is a 2.4 mile swim, 112-mile bike, and a 26.2 mile run. So I did that in Boulder, and then I qualified for the Ironman World Championship that same year in October. So October came around, I did the race, and then I took a few months off. I mean, still active, but and I specifically remember it was December. I was down on the treadmill and my husband came down and I said, I feel like my leg cannot keep up with my body. And then it was month after month, it was getting worse. And then by April, I was just even having a hard time walking around the block at that time. So we started doing all the testing, went here in Mankato, but then also went to Rochester, Minnesota, which at the Mayo Clinic. And then by the end of that year is when I received the diagnosis of multiple sclerosis and dystonia. It was one that I specifically remember I was sitting in my bedroom. It was early in the morning and the doctor called me and let me know. And it was like this dread over me, but then it was something where it's like, okay, now I know what's going on with my body instead of chasing every single test and doing more MRIs and more blood tests. It was at least now I have that so I can start processing it. I did not process it very good though, because I didn't realize I had to grieve the person that I was before. So I kept on chasing, trying to be that triathlete and that athlete, and it just the harder that I tried, the worse that it was. And now I know one of my triggers is stress. I was putting all this stress on my body it was almost like I was, even though I had the diagnosis, I was still in denial about it. And then I was just stuck in this such a dark place. I always say that I was trying to dig this big black hole and I wanted to go deeper and deeper and didn't really know how to get out of it. And because I didn't grieve who I was before, and I didn't realize that, once again, learning moment. You don't just grieve somebody who passes away, you grieve things that, that are not with you anymore. And so, and I felt like I wasn't an athlete anymore, even though I definitely realize now I am still an athlete. It's just a different type of athlete. But at that time, I really felt like that I don't know what my identity is. I've always been an athlete. This is how I show my kids what grit is and what dedication is. So it was definitely a negative spiral that I went down into with the depression for it.
Oh my gosh, there's
Mhm.
so much right here. And I'm gonna for just a second, I'm gonna insert a lighter side of this, and then we'll get back to
Yeah.
it. Like I should have asked you when I said drive or fly. I should have said fly or swim,
Uh,
bike or run.
yeah.
But I wasn't thinking on top of my game at the
Yeah.
time. But yeah, yeah, well, first of all, you got your diagnosis fairly quickly.
Yeah, within that
Um,
year I did.
correct me if I'm wrong, but I've heard of a lot of
Oh.
people, especially with MS, years trying to
Mhm.
figure out what it is, and a lot of misdiagnoses along the
Right.
way. So
Hmm.
I can see, I don't think you used the word relief, but it sounds like maybe that's applicable. Okay, at least now we
Yeah.
know what we're dealing
Hmm.
with. And if you don't mind, I'm personally not so familiar with dystonia. What is that exactly?
Yeah, dystonia. So think of like MS, that there's like a miscommunication between let's say my brain and my foot. So I would be walking and you could hear my foot like dragging. And it's like, pick up your foot. And I'm like, I'm trying to. Or I
Mm,
always say, like, right now I can do this. But before it would be like, it's like I'm telling it to move, but it wouldn't.
okay.
And then dystonia is where it actually like just completely fires. And then all of a sudden my leg was twitching and it was cramped and it was twisted. And so, or my hands would be like this. And, and then it's like, or my elbow would be. So it's like, it's trying to fire too much. And then all of a sudden it's, and for me, it was kind of that like twitching. So sometimes you would see that I would have like a little bit of tremors, or
Hmm.
that my foot wouldn't like straightened out. So it was
Okay.
the best of both worlds, like, I guess, for the MS and dystonia. My body was very confused. It did not like to communicate.
Yeah, I would imagine that was a difficult time. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
being an athlete, very, very active, very competitive, and now it's almost like you're gonna have to be, like you said, showing your family.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot the word you used, but showing them resilience through
Mm-hmm.
physical. Now you're gonna have to show them resilience with mindset.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And it's exhausting to be fake all the time and to put a smile on your face when you are so down on yourself. Like I didn't trust my body. I didn't know what it was going to do. I would have like panic attacks. My son was in a swim meet and I knew that there wasn't railings going up and down the stairs. And I literally was like, what am I going to do? And so then you're trying to hide that from the kids and it's exhausting. It really is. Or, the community, that's what they knew that I did. So they would ask me, how are you doing? Are you racing? And it's just like, oh, you just didn't even know what to say, because one, you're just so sad that that I couldn't compete and do the things that I love. So it was just such a hard time when you are trying to take care of your body so well and it just is breaking down and you just don't know why. And at that time, like I said, I didn't know my triggers. And so I kept on putting more stress on it. And then I wouldn't sleep and I, wasn't changing my diet. And then I would try to exercise more, which made it worse. So it was just this loop that I couldn't get out of until I kind of was like, okay, I got to figure this out. What I'm doing is not working anymore.
Hmm. Yeah, I definitely want to here in a second get to how you've rebounded
Mm-hmm.
and um used your diagnosis for good to help other
Mm-hmm.
people. But I think before we can get to that, give us just a glimpse into everyday life
Mm-hmm.
dealing with the diagnoses. Like, do you need help getting around? You still look very athletic. Are you able to go on long walks? Do you need a cane from time to time? I think you and I talked previously. I
Right.
know someone that's had MS for 45 years, and they have a scooter,
Sure.
and they literally can't walk.
Mm-hmm.
But I also know someone here locally in our church that has MS, and she pushes and pushes and pushes and serves and serves and serves. And except for on her really bad days, you really wouldn't know she has MS unless you knew
Mm-hmm.
her, very well what she was
Right.
dealing with. So just give us a glimpse in what it looks like every day.
I mean, it definitely, because it's been 10 years, it's definitely have changed. So back, I would say in the first 5 years, I did have a cane and it was when I had told you this before and because it's right there when I would look at it, I was like, that's failure. But it's the one thing that could actually move me forward, even though so I never used it in public. I just wouldn't go out. So for a time, like after I kind of got through everything, I actually had to apologize to quite a few people because I never knew. So I was the one that was always ditching out on plans. I would be like, "Yep, I'm going to do that," and then the day would come, and I'm like, "Nope, I can't even walk around." So back then it was when I had my flare-ups, I had a really hard time to walk. I couldn't hold on to things. So that was an embarrassment that I was always dropping things. And then once I started figuring out my triggers, got on medication, got on what I needed to, found my neurologist, starting, to move forward. That's when I and started accepting it. Now I'm like, oh, I have my cane. It's all in polka dots. I love it. But so I still have to use it when I do have flare-ups, but it's not that often. And I know, let's say if I am really stressed, I'm not going to get a lot of sleep. I just know the next couple of days, I got to just take extra care of myself. Or I know that I can't stay out late and I have to go to bed early because a lot of times it's like, will I be able to walk or will I not be able to? So it's just knowing kind of my limits. Sometimes I go past those limits and then I'm like, oh, you kind of then you go a few steps back, but now I know how to keep on moving forward. And the mindset is such a big thing with that also. Before I'd be like, oh, I got to use the cane. And then it was like weeks upon weeks that I would have have these flare ups as like, now I'm like, I got to take care of myself. I push myself too much. So it's been a learning process from that day one to where I am now. I'm not perfect. I'm going to have my ups and downs, but I'm much more prepared for them. Believe me, I still have my pity parties. I still do that. And I have amazing family and friends that snap me out of those, to realize that I have a great support system. I'm grateful for so many things that I was not grateful before. And that is, I never want anyone to go through a chronic disease. I do wish that everyone would have gratitude and see the support around them, because you just don't realize it until you go through something like this. And now, before I would be like so devastated that I have to use my cane. And now I'm like, well, at least I can still move around and at least I can still lift weights and I can still get on the elliptical or whatever it is. I can still slowly maybe walk around the block, or I can, go for a couple of miles. I can't run, but I can do this and this. So it's really changing my outlook on things. And like I said, I still have my pity parties. I still go through that. And you can't just pretend everything is fine. It's just getting out of it sooner rather than later, so you don't stay stuck in it, as we were talking about in bumper to bumper traffic.
I love your insertion of the gratitude
Mm-hmm.
because and we're not minimizing this at all. It's a serious thing, right?
Yes.
But someone is always having it rougher than we
Mm-hmm.
do. And
Yes.
whatever the situation is, there's always something to be grateful for. So I
Mm-hmm.
love that. I will tell you, and in no way am I comparing this to your situation, but
Mm-hmm.
just a little glimpse. So I've got, like a lot of people, I've got plantar fasciitis.
Mm-hmm.
And the last flare up I had was in early April, and it came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I got out of bed, I went to bed fine, no pain at all. Hadn't had a flare up in probably a year. I got up one morning and couldn't walk to the bathroom, which is about 15 feet away.
Mm-hmm.
And it ended up bad enough where I needed crutches
Just
for about 10 days.
right.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is
Gosh.
awful. But
Mm-hmm.
I still had to take my son to his soccer games.
Right.
I'm grateful I'm able to get down close to the field.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't do it without the crutches.
Crutches.
So the mindset is
Yeah.
everything. I'm glad
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not on them anymore. But
Right. Well, and it is like I would get done with a race and I'd be like, why? And, those races are anywhere for me from 10 and a half hours to 12 hours. I'd be like, why didn't I go faster? Why didn't I do this? And it's like I never stopped and said, wow, just just did a really long workout for like 10 hours. I mean, so it's like you just don't appreciate what your body can do until you can't. And even now, like when you're telling that story, so I have been lucky because I haven't been in pain. Even like my tremors are not painful, or my leg drop is not painful. So I look at it as that I'm grateful that I mean, instead of being like, oh yeah, Steve, I have it way worse. I'm almost like, oh gosh, pain, like you just realize, like how you said, others are going through things and they could be completely different, but being in pain for that many days and not being able to walk, that's a big deal. It
yeah,
impacts your life. It impacts your children, your family. So it's like you just have a different view, and I feel like I am a much better coach, a much better leader, and just a much better person overall because of going through this. It's yes, MS did, and dystonia took things away of, let's say, running, but man, it gave me a lot more of gratitude and realizing who supports me, and just everything that I can do. And I actually feel better in my body now and in my mind now than I ever did, which some are like, that's crazy. And it's like, yeah, it took me like 8 years to do it. But I mean, or it took me my entire life of, to my 40s to do it. But it definitely has made me way more grateful for what I have and appreciative of, if it's family, friends, my work, who I can help, or just being appreciative of my own body, that what we put it through day in and day out.
yeah. Well, and okay, so you went through the grief stage, you went through the acceptance stage, and now you're way beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
And you're thriving in helping other people.
Mm-hmm.
You've created the GPS framework. Tell
Yes.
tell us a little bit about that and how. And I know you're doing a lot, and I know we won't cover it all, but tell us who it is you really love to help right now.
Right. When I think of, well, first, when I think of the GPS mindset, so it's your grit, your purpose, and your strength. And just like very high level is like grit. It really, it's think about of it's not about intensity, it's about consistency. So it's kind of the boring reps that you do day in and day out. And what I find with grit is that we never, ever give ourselves credit. We set a goal, we maybe reach the goal, or we're working really hard to get it, but we never congratulate ourselves. We never congratulate the team. We never say what happens. We reach the goal and the goalpost is this far away now. So yeah,
Guilty.
yeah, exactly. And it's like, when you look at it, then when I was going through everything, I was like, I actually felt like I had accomplished nothing in my life. And I was like, and that's where the grit came into it of like, man, we have all accomplished so many things, but we just never give ourselves credit for it. We never realize it ever. So we have to think of the little steps. And this can even go from your own, working on yourself, or in, let's say you're in leadership of like, what has your team done to get you right here? Have you celebrated it? Also, what has worked in the past of, so using those boring reps of using it again and realizing what works and what doesn't. And then purpose, with purpose, it really is, we get into, how I say is, we think it's like, almost sometimes we think it's our identity. At that time, I felt like my identity was being an athlete, or it's being a mom, or it's being a business executive. And you will hear people say, I'm just a mom, I'm just an athlete, or, whatever it is. And our purpose, our motivation is so much deeper. So thinking of like, I want to be, let's say, a motivational speaker. And if you stop there, but it's why. It's because I want to empower others. So you keep on asking yourself why. Or somebody says, I want to lose weight, or I want to be healthy. Why? Well, I want to lose weight. Why? Because I want to play with my grandkids. So you get into those whys and get into deeper. And then strength, we kind of already talked about with mind and body. It's not just about nutrition and exercise. There's so much that goes into it. That the nutrition, exercise, the stress management, sleep, a lot of times that is the grit. And so that is important with the strength, but then strength is also how we talk to ourselves. And I call it the yap trap, because we're always yapping at ourselves. We are the loudest. Who we hear the most is ourselves. So if I'm waking up and I say, I'll have people do an exercise and they'll write down some people say 8 negative things before they even have their morning coffee. Look at my hair, look at my bags, look at my stretch marks. Oh my gosh, look at how bloated I am. I mean, the list goes on and on. I shouldn't be in this leadership meeting. They don't like my ideas. It's like negative after negative. So that's where the GPS mindset all started. And it all started kind of in my experience. I felt like I hadn't accomplished anything, felt like I didn't have a purpose or any motivation. And my strength, the yap trap was so loud. So that's where the GPS mindset started. And then it just kind of expanded from that, of not only as doing it personally with, let's say, my own goals, but also the goals of in businesses and in leadership. It's like everybody is so busy and they're just running around and putting Band-Aids on everything. And it's like they never sit down and say, look at the work the team has done and how much they put into it. Everybody forgets about the purpose. It's not always about the bottom line or the ROI. It is like, for some, I'm going to put because of the weight loss or, blood pressure, cholesterol, getting healthy. For a lot of those individuals working on a product, they are thinking about, they want to save lives, not about the bottom line. So as a leader, making sure you're doing both of those. And then the strength of it, of how many people are not taking care of themselves because they're grinding themselves to the ground, but then also that they are insecure. They're scared to speak up. They have doubts. So as a leader, how can you be a great leader and mentor to get them through that so that they believe in themselves? So it kind of expanded into my own personal experience, and then went into, if it's women leadership, if it's with business executives, it kind of exploded from there.
Mm. You get fired up talking about it. I can
I
see
do.
that.
I do.
You
I'm
know,
just a little bit passionate about it, but it really is. It's like I see so many people get in their own way. And I'm like, I got in my own way for like 40 plus years. And so to share my knowledge and to help others get through it, if it's their own personal goals or in the work environment, I do. I'm just a little passionate about it.
yeah, I mean, there was so much gold in what you just said. Even when you started that last dialogue off with no, somebody says I'm just a mom.
You're right.
That just do away with that word just. Are
Mhm.
you kidding me? That role, how
Right.
influential and important that is.
Yes.
And I will tell you, I'm guilty of what you talked about. Like I know how important it is to celebrate victories.
Mhm.
And I think I'm pretty good at it with encouraging others and the
Mhm.
people I work with. I'm terrible about it for me. I'm
Mhm.
like goal reached, and yeah, I'll acknowledge it, and I give praise to God for sure.
Right.
But like, I'll plow on. What's next?
Yep. What's next? And not celebrating, but what didn't I do right, or what could I do better instead of I did really well. And not realizing what you did well doesn't help you in the future when you go through another detour or another roadblock because you didn't celebrate it and you didn't realize it. So it is. I mean, I have little sticky notes and little reminders in my calendar to like I each month I send out thank you emails. I have it in my calendar to thank people who have like helped me along the way, if it's an email or if it's a text message. I mean, it's as simple as once you have it in your calendar or it's like set, like I got to do this. Then it's like, okay, then you do it. You just sometimes need that reminder. And
Right.
it's sometimes so simple, but it's really having the habit and lifestyle change and doing all that with it.
Yeah, let's do another hypothetical.
Mm-hmm.
This hypothetical, your kids are off doing their thing. They're adulting.
Mm-hmm.
Your husband, he's on a work trip.
Okay.
He's out of town. You have the day in front of you. What does the ideal day for you look like? From your personal routine all the way through what your work day, like you get to dictate this.
Mm-hmm.
Is it speaking on stage somewhere? Is it a couple of coaching sessions? Tell us what the perfect day looks
Right.
like from the time you wake up until the time you go to
Right.
bed.
And I would probably still get up at the exact same time, 5 a.m. Even though I am a morning person, but I say I do like my sleep, but I would get up, I would get my workout in because that is what I do. It is my routine. I feel ready for the day. There's no excuses. So that is how I always start. I always move my body somehow. And it just helps with the MS and dystonia also. But it's kind of the combination of all that. Like I really like the coaching, that one-on-one react or connection, but then also it is the keynotes of when you're up on stage and I'm telling my story or I'm telling the nuggets of the GPS and they're sitting there like this. So when I say, okay, I want you to think of the last 5 thoughts that were positive or negative that you said to yourself. Now I want you to go say that to your boss. And they're all like, no, I can't say that. Like it's when they start realizing how, that is like that moment. It's so small, but that you're connecting with them. Or it's in those coaching calls when you are giving them credit because they never gave themselves credit. And they're like, oh, yeah, I am doing a great job, or I am a better leader, or I am losing weight, whatever it is towards their goal. And then I also, just like working on products that help individuals with their health. If it is exercise, nutrition, sleep, or it is the mental or the mindset of things. So I'm always learning. I always have a podcast on. whenever I'm walking, whenever I'm getting up in the morning, I feel, instead of scrolling, that I can definitely be learning something, so that not only that I'm learning, but then I can take that knowledge and those nuggets and give it to others, which is always like the best medicine for myself, is when I know that I'm giving to others. It's no better when you see them taking steps forward towards their goals. It's like I do a little happy dance for them, because they're finally getting out of their own way.
Yeah, no, that's great. What's the your favorite podcast currently?
Oh gosh, I do have Mel Robinson on, like
Thought you might say that.
on repeats. So truthfully, it is one that always keeps on coming up. Cinder Crampoff is another one. She is a sports psychologist. She has been an amazing mentor to me. She actually lives down the street. We used to run together and train together. But she is a sports psychologist, works at the college, but also does keynote speaking on grit. So she has an amazing podcast also that I listen to. But anything with like mindset or just health in general, if it's anything with emotional eating, if it's perimenopause, if it's menopause, it's the things that I see others struggle with. If it's imposter syndrome, I am trying to learn as much as I can to get the research so that I can help them along the way with their health goals, or in their leadership roles also.
Yep, constantly learning and growing.
Yes.
That's what it's all about.
Yes.
Tell folks where they can find you on social media and learn more about the great work you're doing.
Yeah, so you can go to my website, KristinGustafson.com. That's where you can just kind of find my backstory. We're updating it right now. New speaker reel is actually getting completed today. So that will be up on the website here in the next week or so. And then if you go to LinkedIn, that's a lot of the business, the leadership side. And you can just, if you type in Kristin Gustafson, and then Instagram, Facebook, a little bit more of the personal side for me and the family side. And if you put Kristin Gustafson in for that, also, that will just pop up for you. Otherwise, website, KristinGustafson.com.
Okay, and we have all those links Kristin's provided for us ahead of time, so we'll include those in the show notes. Um, Kristin, what would you say as we wrap up here for the person that is struggling to find hope, person that feels stuck, the person that doesn't like their plot in life right now? Um, how would you encourage them this morning?
Yeah. I would really look at, like, I truly believe your attitude determines your direction in life. So if you think that you can, you can, because you put the time and the effort into it. If you think that you can't, then it's almost just an afterthought. So trying to change that attitude around, and trying to like look at your goals and use the GPS mindset. Like, realize everything is not going to be perfect at all. Like, there is going to be detour upon detour. And once you realize that, then it's like, oh, okay, but it's how you get back on track and how you respond to it. And then also, because for some, if they're really in digging that hole, is that reach out, like your support and the people around you, they want to help you. You're not a burden. You're not bringing them down. They want to see you happy also. So that's kind of the other side of, with the support and being grateful, because we're all going to have really low points, and still being grateful for the things that we do have around us. We just have to, put a spark on those positive things when everything around it is so dark.
Yeah, great advice for sure. Your attitude dictates your direction.
Mm-hmm.
Be grateful, and we weren't designed to go through life alone. These are more my
Right.
words, but taking some of what you said, like
Mm-hmm.
we don't progress to whatever it is we want to accomplish by ourselves. We need a
Right.
community behind us. And my saying about that is if you don't have a mentor, if you don't have a coach, if you don't have trusted friends that love you, keep you
Mhm.
accountable to the things you said you want to accomplish, if you don't have a supportive
Right.
circle, then what you really have is a cage.
Hmm.
And you need to reframe that and reevaluate the circle. But I love what you said. People around you do want to help, but
Hmm.
they can only help to the
Oh,
point you
right.
tell them what you
Yes.
need. Got to
Yes.
articulate what the need is. This has been awesome. I could go on and on. Thank you so much
Yes.
for sharing your experiences with us. Heartbreaking news, but how you pivoted and used it for good, or still using it for mighty, mighty ways,
Mhm.
making a huge difference with those that you're serving. Your vulnerability. I just really appreciate your heart and your being our guest today. I really appreciate it.
I love it. Thanks for having me. So appreciate it.
Guys, as we close out, I'm just going to say one thing. That season you're going through, think about the season that Kristin went through. It was a long season when she found out about MS and dystonia, right? Long season. But in the big picture of life, it was just a season. And whatever you're going through right now, we don't want to minimize it because it's real. But some of your best chapters, see what you're going through right now, it's a chapter. Some of your best chapters are still being written, and you're going to see them if you persevere. I can't wait to see your next chapters. God's not done with your story yet. Be encouraged today. I appreciate each one of you. Till next time, take care.
Bye, everyone. Thanks.